Hey guys, I had to do a part one and two because I had kept too many of those HD videos. So the idea was that I was focusing on a lot of different things that I wanted to achieve because, I was kind of ambitious and I was like, oh, I have this free time, so I'm going to build my own business. I'm going to help out other businesses with their social media, and then I'm going to start my own Instagram page to kind of develop the skills I needed. I'm going to go to Portland this summer. I'm going to travel to all these places. I'm going to buy myself, all these kind of clothes that I need to, go to the beach for business. So I kind of have all these plans in mind. However, I was starting to feel the stress from not only that, but just kind of the baggage that I had for a lot of my life. So I decided to join the journey of self transformation. And that's why today, I yeah, I went to Albertsons, and I'm just glad to finally, go back to eating the food that I was eating before. It was just nice to have a cleanse. It was definitely a lot of energy. My digestion cleaned up. I had to go to the bathroom less. It kept me satiated and realized that I don't need all that tonnage that I was eating. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go back to what I was eating before and to see the difference. But definitely interesting keeping a cleanse as part of my routine. Maybe monthly, maybe every other week. I'll kind of have to think about it. Um, but yeah, so I ended up going over to the gym and it was fairly quiet. It's actually been somewhat quiet the last couple of days that I've been, but I'll have to see over a week of what it looks like. I've definitely noticed that I'm starting to grow some muscle for both just my arms. I'm definitely noticing my veins are popping because all the circulation. To be honest, I don't really use my arms too much besides typing on a keyboard. I mean, literally, like, the fall semester for Miracosta and this spring semester, I was basically on a computer most of the time. You're in class, you sit at a desk, and then after that, you spend time basically on a computer doing your assignments. A lot of college classes have become web based, so you're doing the coursework on a computer, so you're not really using your arms besides maybe your hands. Your fingers get strong, but your upper arms don't really get used very much. And I honestly didn't use it. Even when I wasn't doing homework, I was searching for jobs. Maybe I was carrying some things because, I take the bus, but other than that, I wasn't really using my arms too much. Spring semester was the same case. I used my fingers a lot when I was working on Instagram, but besides that, I wasn't really using a lot of upper arm strength. Maybe sometimes around the house I move stuff, but it was kind of sporadically. So I'm definitely noticing stronger upper arms from this workout. Confidence is building up because I'm like, wow, I can actually do this. Persistence, and just keeping at it. Like for me, 8 pounds is heavy. Maybe not for somebody else, but at my level right now, 8 pounds is a lot. I know that if I keep working at it, I can get it higher. I can go up to 10, maybe 15, 20. But it's all about practice. Where are you at this moment in time, and developing that strength, developing that muscle. And over time, you'll see that you can actually handle more weight. Um, and I believe that it's crucial because, with other habits you build, you realize over time that you can tolerate it. Um, One thing on my mind is, like, for example, Altoids. I thought Altoids were super strong, and I was like, oh, this tastes gross. But over time, I developed a taste for them, and I used it whenever my breath was, feeling. Uh, it smelled bad, basically. My breath smelled bad. Another thing was my computer knowledge. When I was a kid, I didn't know much about computers. We had so many old computers because my grandfather, he was an accountant and he was doing programming basically, and we had all these computers lying around. So as a kid, I loved to tinker around with them, but I didn't know much about it. I just kind of plugged things in and hope for the best. But the more I learned about old computers and operating systems and how they work, the more I was able to understand, oh, I was doing something wrong. And so the more research I did and the more I persisted, it's not like I said, oh, I'm just going to toss this stuff out. I developed an interest, and then I figured out the different ports, the different cables, um, how the monitors, back, it's not all VGA. That's what I thought. It was like, oh, VGA monitors, but there was like CGA, EGA, I think SVGA, so each monitor had a different type of port. And so that's why you can't just plug in a new monitor to, an old computer, because they're not compatible with each other. I didn't know that as a kid. And I didn't realize that, you needed a floppy disk with a operating system, to actually get the computer boot up. I thought, oh, you just flip the switch and then you'll see the operating system just kind of like what you have with modern computers. But I learned that through Facebook groups. I learned that through YouTube videos. I learned that through reading manuals. And over time, I developed that knowledge. But it didn't take me one day. It was over time, years. And eventually, I had that knowledge. But it's all about how you persist and how you learn more information. So just like with weights, at first, like right now, because I'm not used to lifting weights. So that's why my arms aren't going to be able to handle, 40-pound dumbbells. But over time, if I keep working at it, then I'll be able to develop that muscle to actually be able to do it. And that's like with any other habit you want to build, is you have to do it consistently, day by day, and little by little, and then you get there. And so that's like a great idea that I learned. And so that's what I was doing today, 45 minutes. I did the same routine, and then I was watching videos about retention. There's this one channel that always makes me smile because of the name. Um, and I don't know, retention is a little bit different than nofap from what I got from his gist. And so I don't know if I necessarily agree with the retention part of it, but I'm interested to learn more. Um, but yeah, so I did that, and I took the sprinter back over to Vista, and I wanted to shoot some hoops, and I found this park, a Breeze Hill Park, which is actually pretty much a park attached to an elementary school, because because the schools are closed down still. The park where the basketball hoops are still closed, which makes sense. Um, it's kind of weird to have a park that's basically an elementary school playground. I can, it's they probably should separate it, but yeah. So I wasn't able to shoot hoops there, so I ended up finding Guajome Park, which is a county park, pretty big, and I took the bus. I did some walking, and I took the bus over there. I learned some actually tips from a bus driver. He talked about oregano oil, turmeric, and spirulina. Sorry, my. Yeah, so he talked about those things, and I'm definitely interested in spirulina. I tried a juice, which was very intense because it was like lemongrass, apples. A little bit too much for me, but I'm interested in spirulina. I'm interested in turmeric. I tried turmeric before, and it's really good. And then I'm interested in oregano oil. Maybe I'll do essential oils, and then put it in my vaporizer here. As you can see, bought that back in the fall to combat xerostomia, the dry mouth that I usually get when the humidity gets very low. Uh, to be honest, when that happens, it's like, I get postnasal drip, and then I feel very weak because, with postnasal drip, you're basically eating your own mucus, and it's pretty gross. And but yeah, having this combats xerostomia, dry mouth. Have it running during the night. I never had a humidifier before, so I found it off Amazon for pretty cheap, and it's great because not only can I put water in there, I can put essential oils. Been doing lavender, citrus oil. I did eucalyptus. There's a lot of great essential oils. Like Albertsons had a really good deal, but for now, I think I'll stick with lavender and citrus because they're great smells. Pretty calming too. It really fills up the room. But yeah, so I ended up having to. I had a good conversation. I guess he's interested in holistic health. But yeah, so I went over to Guajome and I shot some hoops. And I was on fire today. I was like, wow. I was like making all these. This court was really nice, good condition. The baskets were really nice. They had like a chain hoop, like a chain net, which was great because the cloth ones tend to fall apart in the water when it's exposed to the weather. But this was a great court, well kept. The lines were a bit different because there wasn't. I don't think there was a 3-point line. Maybe there was, but it was. There's something about it that was a little bit different. But yeah, I was making a lot of shots where the 2-point shots, where I've been practicing the last few days or so. I was like, wow. And then I got some really nice basketball shoes from Ross for like very cheap. I mean, you think like shoes at the mall cost about like $60, 50, $60. And then Ross, because you're trying to get rid of their inventory, the price of shoes is amazing. I mean, it competes directly with Amazon. I mean, you could forget about the shipping and handling and having to wait. You could just go down the store, buy some shoes. Very comfortable, a lot of airflow. Great for when you're trying to make the baskets. Great color. I got bright neon red. I love neon. And yeah, I was helping this other guy out. We were sharing the court. So sometimes when he was shooting baskets, I helped him out get his ball back. Helping a bro out. Um, but yeah, I did some meditation in the park, and it was about 5 minutes, 5 minute meditation, 10-minute meditation on the other side. I did mindfulness to really cultivate the awareness energy. What I call it is basically where you're able to just focus literally on your breath, or not necessarily your breath, just what's happening at this present moment. So that way, all the thoughts about what you need to do, like, oh, I gotta work on this project. Oh, I gotta start my business. I gotta start making money. Or how am I gonna make money for next semester so I can pay off tuition? Or you're like, oh, I need to go shopping for this. All these thoughts that kind of in your subconscious mind where it's like, I got to do this, I got to do this. Or, for me, sometimes it's like ridiculous stuff like, oh, what do people think of me? Oh, people think you're weird because, you're meditating in public. Or thoughts go on and on like, oh, they're laughing at you. Or basically a lot of that kind of social anxiety stuff. Oh, remember that girl from last semester? All this stuff that happens in your subconscious mind, and you get just distracted and kind of caught up with all this information. And with this awareness energy, things start to slow down, and then you gain control of your thoughts. And then they don't bother you anymore because you're in control and you become aware of the present moment. And once you become aware of the present moment, then all of those fears subside. Everything starts to slow down and becomes peaceful. And then you become aware that all these subconscious thoughts are really meaningless. Yeah, it's like, yeah, brain, I understand that I got to do all this stuff, but it'll come in due time. I don't have to worry about that right now. Like right now I'm at a park. So all this stuff about, oh, I got to buy this and I got to, work on this at home. And oh man, I got all these goals I want to achieve. It's like, right now you can just tune into the present moment. So I did that meditation and I just got to keep practicing, keep flexing that muscle. It's just like basketball, where every single day you go out there and you shoot hoops and you practice and maybe you focus on your form. You watch videos about how to do a better job. And just like with this mindfulness, you have to cultivate it every day. You have to practice. And sometimes it's going to be hard. Sometimes it's hard to shoot hoops, right? Because the farther you go out into the 3-point line, the more energy you have to push that ball to get it into the hoop because the farther distance you go. But you just have to keep persisting through those challenges. Same with the weights. It's like some of those weights feel heavy right now. Like, the like even 8 pounds for me feels heavy, but you got to keep persisting. You got to keep training your muscles. It's like muscle memory, right? With mindfulness, it's muscle memory. Your brain is a muscle. So you got to keep training that. And you have to keep training that mindfulness. And it's going to be tricky because there are going to be thoughts, and sometimes the thoughts have higher amounts of emotional energy depending on the amount of time and the focus you put on those thoughts, how you're cultivating those thoughts in your subconscious mind. Like, are you putting a lot of time into focusing on, for example, building your business, your Instagram page, then your subconscious mind is going to keep reminding you, like, hey, you got to build this page, you got to build those followers, you got to get more likes for this. How are you going to approach those businesses? How are you going to do the sales pitch? How are you going to get these businesses? Are you going to make money? What are the taxes like? The list goes on and on. Your brain just keeps firing these questions. And at some points, you just got to chill out, bro. Just got to chill out and just focus on the present moment, because everything is going to happen in due time. Like, I remember when I was at Miracosta, and I'd be thinking about, like, oh, the homework is going to be so hard. It wasn't my thoughts, it was my subconscious mind. It was like telling me, like, I just ate lunch, and I was really relaxing at Pedley Park because it's a beautiful area of Miracosta. And then these thoughts came in my brain. It's like, oh man, you have so much homework to do. How are you going to finish that? Are you going to have to take that homework home? Man, why do I have to go to college? Because it's like all this homework I got to do, and all this garbage in my brain that just kept telling me all this BS, just complete BS, because none of it's true. Because I go back in the library and I do the homework and I realize this homework's freaking easy. Why am I spending all this time with these thoughts that are telling me, like, oh, it's so hard? But the reality is it's not true. It's not hard at all. Like, you go back into the library and you just focus your energy. You listen to your binaural beats, your isochronic tones, and you just focus and you realize this isn't hard at all. It's just your brain's feeding you all this garbage information that isn't true whatsoever. Like, literally, like, you can go in there and it's like, this isn't as hard as I made it out to be, or my subconscious mind made it hard to be. And the list goes on and on. Like, you could be like, for example, another thing your brain likes to exaggerate is, especially public speaking. I've done presentations before, and it's like, in the moment, if you just focus on the present moment, you can make a presentation. You could literally, I mean, it's like beforehand, you're like all anxious about how, oh, what if I mess up? What are people going to think of me? Are people going to laugh? All this stuff in your subconscious mind. But if you literally, dude, if you really focus on the present moment when you're public speaking, and that's all you focus on is, you just take a deep breath, and then you realize this is a show. This is a performance. So if you focus and you give it your all in that performance, you give the audience what they want, which is, comedy and fun, right? Because people see a lot of boring presentations and they fall asleep. But if you give them a show, you give them a performance, like art, right? Theater. You give them something to entertain themselves with, then they'll take that information in. They won't be like, man, this is a waste of my time. Why am I watching this show? Why did I spend the money to get this ticket for a mediocre show, right? But if you give them something they want, you give the audience, like, something entertaining, right? You go to a council meeting and you give them a presentation that is something that it's just fun, and then they remember that. They remember your performance, and they can go back. But your mind loves to show, like, how everything's gonna go wrong. You're gonna embarrass yourself. You're gonna do something stupid. Yada yada yada, right? But if you stay focused in the present moment, and you just focus on the breath, you realize that I'm here. This is my time to give them what they want, and then you just let your authentic self, your presentation guide you. And so for me, that's what I'm trying to focus on with this pure awareness energy, where it's about tuning into the present moment and just giving your all, dude. Just letting things flow and just letting the thoughts go, because after all, the thoughts aren't scary. They're just thoughts. They're just ideas. A lot of ideas happen, right? A lot of things happen to us every single day, but it doesn't mean we react to the things in the same manner every single day, right? Something happens to us. Are we gonna use that same mental energy for each situation that happens, right? Like, let's say, you know, somebody says something to you, like someone tries to sell you something, right? You pick up the phone and it's a solar guy, right? He's trying to sell you solar. Do you get the same amount of negative energy towards that as somebody, let's say, somebody you lose your job, right? There's different levels of mental energy we're putting towards certain situations. So like with our thoughts, it's like not every single thought in our brain is worth the time or the energy to focus on. So other thoughts you can just let go. Let go of the small things. Don't put so much mental energy into those small petty thoughts, because a lot of times it's just complete garbage. All the emotional energy you attach to it construes that reality, right? Construes the truth. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. And so I ended up, I caught the bus back to Vista Transit and I did a walk. Luckily, those basketball shoes have, great, it's just great walk. Um, and then I ended up, did another cold shower coming home. And it felt amazing, right? And then I did my chamomile tea, you know. Maybe I'll, yeah, chamomile sometimes it has a little bit of aftertaste, but chamomile tea. Watch the sunset, which I've been doing actually before this journey. I'd been doing, I think, since last summer or something. But I tend to go out there. I was taking a lot of pictures, posting on IG, trying to get people to engage with my content. Sunset pictures are very classic, on Instagram. But yeah, I really look forward to day 10 of the self improvement journey or self transformation journey, and I look forward to oh man, eating tacos and eating a sandwich. That's gonna be great. Seeing how that transitions out. I'm thinking about maybe going to Walmart or Dollar Tree or something, get some more vitamins and supplements. Add some maybe spirulina. I'm interested in adding that to my smoothies. Ashwagandha is something in my mind. Turmeric, oregano oil, chlorella. A lot of these kind of superfoods. Of course, the basketball. I'll have to see what kind of parks are open, and in addition to that, of course, my No Fat Bros. I'll check out, see what they got. Planet Fitness, trying to keep the gains going every single day. Just doing the bicep curls, and some other routines, and working on that pure awareness energy, and just trying to tune into the present moment. See, whenever I think about that, I just kind of slow down and I let everything goes quiet. So if it's a switch, it's like, I remember believing that, oh man, how am I going to control my thoughts, right? You can control your thoughts. You can control your reality. And people tell you that you can't do it, but I feel like you can actually control your thoughts. They're your thoughts. Your subconscious mind influence your thoughts. So if you change your subconscious mind, you can change what thoughts appear at the forefront. The less you react to your thoughts, the less they'll come up. And then you gain that mental energy, and then all you have to do is focus on the present moment. And those thoughts become less and less apparent. And when they come up, they don't have any emotional attachment. Once you let that emotional attachment go, then you don't care anymore. Just like NoFap, right? Just like thinking about the cycle. Why should I think about it? It's not part of my life anymore, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I look forward to checking on day 10 of the self-improvement journey, and I hope you guys have a great night. Peace.